Hello, everyone. Welcome to Healthy Minds, and this is Henry. So, it seems like we're having some difficulties with our audio, and the videos that we're showing are not giving us the audio part. Nevertheless, what we're going to do tonight or today is we'll be discussing the currency, or I mean the currency versus money under the history, and also we'll be tackling Bitcoin and blockchain. And later on, let's see if we have some questions that we could raise on for the discussion. For the meantime, I'd like to inform that I'm not a financial advisor. So this channel is only for educational purposes and on how we could utilize the technology and the market. So what I'm gonna do now, since the audio is not playing, let's just do some brief things on what those audio that I'm sharing supposed to give us. Uh, the first video actually is Mr. Bloom, Godfrey Bloom. He's member of the um, UK uh, House. So he tried to discuss there what is the central bank is doing on how they print money from thin air, and that's what we call the quantitative easing. But as much as I would like to make things um, simpler, so we will be able to tackle some jargon words here, but most probably some of you guys also are into financial accounting or banking, so probably you also heard those things. But to sum it up, um, here you will see that we are able to show here what is the history of money. As much as I would like to show that video where it shows the history of money, we will just try to see what I could discuss from this part. So as we know, uh, it all started from barter. There, during back days, wala naman tayong uh, mga papel na pera eh. Though way back, it was started when they realized that yung yung mga ginagamit nila is either available na, like yung mga seashells, uh, sometimes they use animals. So it's kind of difficult for people to do this kind of transaction. And then we 5,000 years, finally we able to catch the gold and the silver. Kaya nga lang, ang hirap niyan sa divisible. So, challenging yung part na yan. I'm gonna share some links that you guys could tackling later on, and you could do your own research para mas maunawaan niyo yung sinasabi ko. So let's just proceed. Here we will see that different country has their own different currencies, and as we know, the global currency that most countries are accepting is the dollar. So it depends. Still, it depends on the country where you at. There are countries that are sanctioned. There are countries that prefer European dollar or euro dollar, and some countries like us, we normally use our own local currency, which is the peso. So, ano nga ba yung currency versus money? Ito yung most of the time na kahit mga sabihin natin financial advisor, yung mga even in the banks, they have some difficulties um, identifying what's the difference between these two. So first, money is actually a medium of exchange. It's also portable, durable, divisible, and fungible. Uh, and yung last part niya is it hold values. Compared sa currency, na alam naman natin na kung ano yung nabibili mo before, because of inflation, bumabagsak yung buying power niya. So, it's not, before they say, try to save more on the banks. Pero right now, seems like savers are losers. Kasi nga, mas mataas pa yung inflation. And yung interest na nakukuha mo sa banko is definitely wala na halos sa value. And lately, United States actually printed trillions, not billions, not millions, but trillions of dollars. At yung kanilang interest sa bank is from 2 or 0.2 is ngayon is zero, almost zero interest. So makikita mo talaga doon na almost no value na talaga yung kanilang money. Although the good thing is it's recognized by the world. Kaya meron siyang fractional reserve na tinatawag at siya yung global currency. So masasabi mo na yun yung advantage ng US dollar. But if you're gonna talk about Venezuela, if you're gonna talk about Turkey, if you're gonna talk about those countries na overprinting, halos wala ng value yung kanilang money. And that is why we're talking about blockchain and Bitcoin. Ano ba yung matutulong nito sa atin? So ano nga ba yung matutulong ng Bitcoin and blockchain? But before we able to do that, of course, we have to identify and be able to somehow define what is Bitcoin and what is blockchain. By the way, feel free to actually participate on our chat box. If you're watching on YouTube, you will see that on the right corner of your screen that there is a comment or chat section there. Just feel free to type any questions, and let's see later on if we could discuss these things. And nevertheless, I'll try to share things that what I have. Again, it's a disclosure now. We're not actually inviting everyone. We're not endorsing any company or platform. This is purely for educational purposes and for awareness only. So this is purely my own opinion. In plain English, do your own research. So Dior. I'm just check ano yung meron tayo ngayon sa screen natin. Let's see kung if we have someone who is trying to check our broadcast for today. Welcome sa ating mga viewers. So I decided to do it here live instead of the webinar for us to have also this kind of medium and maximize our YouTube platform. So let's continue. Ano nga ba yung Bitcoin? First, let's answer that question. What is Bitcoin? Probably most of you guys already heard ano yung Bitcoin 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2017, we heard that Bitcoins actually reaches maximum of or all-time high of almost 20K. We're talking about 20,000K dollars. So kung sino man yung mga umabot during those times. Pero marami din tayong misconception because most of us probably are been scammed. Pero to tell you the truth, Bitcoin is actually, it's not a person. It's not a company, it's not an organization, it is a currency. So it is actually a digital currency. But nowadays, if you saw our preview for this broadcast, it was mentioned there that it's actually considered digital gold. So versus gold, Bitcoin is actually uh, easy to be divisible, or it's divisible, and you could actually transfer it from the internet. So you don't need to physically go to a place, and you don't need to store it with you. That's the difficult part. Transporting it, it's another difficult part. And getting lots of uh, sabihin na natin na you're going to go to BIR, you're going to go to SEC, all those stops, all those difficulties na advantage ng Bitcoin technology. So with that, I hope I was able to give some clearance what is Bitcoin. It's actually one of the digital currency. It is considered the king of the currency, and all digital currency and all those currencies and tokens that we have now. It's around more than 7,000. If you're gonna check the coin market cap and the coin gecko and the other uh, sites that will confirm us how many are the registered coins and tokens. Those are mostly called altcoins because ang pinaka coin natin is, which is the king, and it is Bitcoin. But later on, perhaps we could discuss on those altcoins like Ethereum, XRP, and we have other coins like Polkadot, Chainlink, and nagkakaroon din tayo ng port. So, ano ba yung ports? Later on, we could also discuss those things. So, right now, as I said, the purpose of this one is for us to have a clear understanding on the technology, on how we could maximize it, and how we could actually uh, enter it. Kasi most of the time, we think, oh, I have to learn trading. Actually, it's not just all about trading because dito papasok yung blockchain. Because blockchain is actually a decentralized uh, ledger. So what does this decentralized ledger do is it actually records all the transactions going on in the network. So unlike a central authority that you could actually, let's say, a hacker, he wants to attack a certain company, a certain website, he could simply infiltrate that one website. But the good thing with this technology is it's distributed. So it's gonna be near to impossible for someone to hack uh, the blockchain of Bitcoin and infiltrate it and manipulate the ledger or the records, since this one is already recorded, and this host, these miners that we talk about, are the one that actually validate the transaction. So I'm mentioning some jargon words here. I'll try to uh, give it in more simpler terms. I hope I could deliver that on our conversation. So let's check again our channel if someone are here. And okay. So going back to Bitcoin, proceeding with this one, as you can see, uh, it's worldwide. It's worldwide. It's not limited in one country. And since it's using the internet, as long that country has an internet, of course, you could use VPN, all those other connections, if there would be any security concerns. But in the normal internet connections, like the Philippines or here in KSA, you could actually use Bitcoin and do transport uh, P2P. When we say P2P, is actually person to person. So you don't need any third party, unlike a bank. So normally, if you do remittance, if you transfer money from one end to end, it will take days. Ang mahirap pa, lalo na kung nagkaroon pa ng weekend. So it will add to additional time frame that you have to wait. And it's permissionless. So once you connect to the network, send this to the valid address of the person who's participating also on the network. He or she will be able to receive the Bitcoin that you send. And we're talking about other currencies also available in the market. But for now, as I said, let's just concentrate on the Bitcoin. So ayan, makikita natin dito na there are thousands already of participation when it comes to this kind of technology. And this technology is fast. It 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 actually started, or the creation of it is 2008, last quarter, before it was done in the 29 or 2009, where the first transaction has been held in those people who's participating this technology. So sa Philippines, how about the Philippines? What we have. So from here, you will be able to see on bitmarket.ph ano yung mga retail stores, companies, individuals that actually participating on this technology. May bisita tayo dito. Kanina pa may lipad na gamo-gamo dito sa place ko. Yan, I hope I was able to stop that. Okay. Okay. So just a quick recap. We tried to discuss what is the history of money, which is I made it simple. It all started through barter. Way back in the Bible, it's recorded. Probably if you know Cain and Abel, there's possibility na itong magkapatid na to are actually bartering since Cain is a farmer and Abel is a shepherd. So there's a possibility that these two guys are starting to do the barter. So we're talking about 4,000, 5,000 years ago. And then we have the Egyptian era where they started the use of gold. So from there, we're able to discuss also what is money and currency. So ano nga ba ulit yun? Currency and money. Currency, as we know, different country has their own currencies. We call it Forex if you are into trading. You have the pairing for yen versus dollars, dollars versus euro, and so on and so forth. As we know, currency are have most of the character of a money, which is it's divisible, it's portable, it's durable, it's fungible, meaning kung anong value ng $1 ko dito sa pocket ko is the same $1 then kung anong mabibili niya. Let's say US dollar, $1 sa pocket ko and $1 on your pocket. Kung anong mabibili nito, kung anong value nito is the same value ng $1 mo dyan. But the thing that's hold them different is what we call holding up value, especially on times. So, as we know, traditional market, gold and silver was able to maintain yung buying power niya. But the difficulty nga lang is for an ordinary people to hold or to have a silver and gold. What we're talking about here is gold bar or silver coin. It's gonna be difficult for an ordinary people to have that. Ngayon, dyan pumapasok yung technology, which is nowadays, everyone has its own cell phone, everyone's connected to the internet. And that's the good thing with Bitcoin. Ay dagdag ko na lang, bakit kaya ginawa yung Bitcoin? And if you're gonna think, what is 2008? What do we have on 2008? 2008 is actually one, or kung naabutan nyo pa yun, or kung naalala nyo pa yun, this is the time that US really experienced dive in the market. Many people have been affected, and since then, maraming naging homeless. Back in the Philippines, I'm still working in Accenture during that time. And projects are really difficult during this time. So people who live in the city really are affected pag nagkaroon ng mga disaster na ganito, just like the pandemic. But people in the province, hindi nila masyadong nararamdaman to because they have their uh, the farm, the way of living there are just relaxed and slow, unlike in the city that you really have to work inside an office or inside a company, or sometimes they work remotely, but still all the transactions are market. We're talking about supply chain, we're talking about the medical teams or the medical market, the medical devices, all those stuffs. So it 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 actually needs a physical uh, and uh, uh, masasabi natin na working in a city is really, or the life in the city is really different from the province. Anyways, Bitcoin, it's as long you do have the internet, you have your phone, you will not be limited of these difficulties, especially on in this time of pandemic. So, how to start? Ito yung laging tanong eh. First, the reason why I try to discuss all those parts, because most of the time, ang tanong dyan is, magkano yung kikitain ko? Let's be real. Yun yung laging tanong, magkano yung kikitain ko dyan? Without realizing na magkano ba yung pwedeng mawala sa akin dyan. So, we're talking about here risk management. So, there are lots of companies right now, big companies, especially in the US, they actually allotting percentage of their capitals and their funds into this technology because nakita talaga nila na ang currency ay bumabagsak. So with that, I'm opening this channel. We're able to somehow put some awareness na there is a technology that we could use, and you don't need to be technical knowledge for you to participate in this. If you know the value of this technology, just like holding a gold, then from there you will be able to decide how much risk you would like to participate. So it's a matter of risk management. It's not a matter of how much yung kikitain ko dito. Kasi kung alam mo yung value ng technology, definitely, just like stocks, just like gold, commodities, bonds, there's a market cycle, and eventually these things will go up. Quick backtrack, 2017, let's show this things that I got before we go here. I want to bypass this part. I hope I do have it here. There you go. So kung naabutan nyo yung 2017, if you actually bought around 20,000, and you are doing cost averaging, it says that you will still have a gain. What do I mean by that? Kala ko ba bumagsak yung Bitcoin? So, 2017, umabot siya ng almost 20,000. By 2018, bumagsak siya ng almost ng 3,000 range. So, paano masasabi mo na kumita ka pa? Kasi last year, around 4,000 siya, 3,000 range. But early this year, umabot siya ng 14,000. Or 2019, umabot siya ng 14,000. And then umabot siya ng 12,000. So right now, naglalaro yung Bitcoin sa 11,000. Actually, I had a trade. Just yesterday, I decided to come in the market. And let's see if I could share it here. So we're trying to share kung ano yung galaw ng market. And let's see if we could actually show it here. So habang ino-open ko siya, here you will see that if you invested, let's say, $100 na lang every month, and you started buying the 2017 all-time high, you still have a gain of around 61% or 62% in return. So even the stock market and even in P2 Pag-ibig, you will not see that type of gain in the last 3 years. So, and to be considered na bear market pa siya, ibig sabihin yung cycle niya pababa pa. But now that we are on the starting of the bull market, imagine yung $100 mo, how much it will be in the near future. Ang key lang talaga dito is you know your risk management, and you should have a exit plan strategy para alam mo din na, or okay, I have to take profit at this moment, or maybe this is the time that I should buy more. So I really hope this channel will be able to help you with that type of concern. So let's see if I could open this screen here. And then babalikan ko yung part na how should we start? How can we start with this thing? Here. So if you could see, yesterday I believe I bought around 10,705 to be exact. And it reaches already around 11,090. But right now, the actual price is around 11,037. So, bakit ako bumili ng ganon? Well, there's actually a trend here. And if you're gonna see, there's what we call breakout na ginagawa natin. for us to do the trading. This one is just a sample how I do things. Later on, we could discuss the resistance and the support. So here, ito yung meron tayong nakitang resistance dito. But overall, if you're gonna check this one, there's another big resistance here. Let's see if I could show it here. That's the macro side. So nakita natin na yun yung all-time high, another peak, 2019 peak, and then nag-break siya dito sa side na to. But if you're gonna check the lower time frame, there is also another resistance on this part. A trend line, what we call it, trend line. So, hindi siya makalagpas-lagpas dito sa part na to until such time na I saw possible breakout. That's the reason why I decided to enter the market. And successfully, thank God, okay naman yung basa natin sa market. So it was able to reach this first resistance, but our target, it might reach hopefully, or not hopefully, but actually, technically, the target is around this part, around 12,000. Yeah, around 12,000. Why? Because of that resistance part there. And if we're going to use another tool, we have Fibonacci. Later on also, if you are into technicals and you would like to learn, I could discuss those part also, where we will have this measurement. Ayun. So, nakita nyo naman, para siyang sinukat. Sakto siyang tumama dito sa 1.6, 1.618. This is actually a what we call Fibonacci. If you are familiar with the design of almost everything, the universe, the stars, the solar system, even the flowers, the palm of our hand, it's measured on this what we call Fibonacci measurement. And the same with the stocks. It somehow most of the movement of the market follows that pattern. So it's just a brief thing that we shared you this. So back to our question before we end this live broadcast is how are we going to start? Paano nga ba tayo mag-start? Oh, my apology. I wasn't able to show it on the screen. So, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. I hope you were able to understand what I mean. Yan. So, may trend line tayo na pababa. And it broke out. Tapos yung sinasabi ko kanina na Fibonacci is this tool. Let's try to show it to you guys. Welcome sa ating mga viewers. Thank you. Thank you for your messages. So feel free to ping or send your questions with regards to our topic for today. So right now we're already on that part of discussing a simple technical when it comes to trading, kung sino yung mga interested na mag-trade. We're trying to discuss the support and the resistance, the trend lines, and what we call the Fibonacci, which is a bit advanced already, but at least you will have the idea na meron palang mga ganitong klaseng tool that we could use. And yan. So, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, when I tried to measure kung ano yung target ko, it almost actually hit the same, which is also this resistance here. So, around 12,000 ang ating target for this particular trade. And this Fibonacci, nasabi ko nga, it's almost in everything pagdating sa design, or I mean, how things are react. Laging pumapasok yun, even in the stock market or the movement of cryptocurrency, forex, or commodities. So it's not like coincident. It's really a design, a great design na nag-exist. Okay, so finally, let's go back to how nga ba tayo mag-start. Let's try to answer that question. How can we actually start? So let's share again this. From here, as I said kanina, I'm not actually endorsing, or we're not actually endorsing any particular companies or organization, but these are the platforms and the tools that we could use so that we could get familiar on the market. Para ma-verify natin kung, let's say, meron tayong mga kaibigan, or sabihin na natin mga people who try to approach us and try to ask us about this technology, or ang mahirap pa nga, if we encounter na may nag-invite sa atin, and it looks like, as I said in the earlier video, na it's not pyramiding. It doesn't have triangles. You don't have to recruit people. You don't have to build this pattern, kung ano man yung mga ginagawa, or kung ano man yung mga tawag nila doon. You don't have to invite anyone for you to actually have profit. You just need to get familiar on the market, educate yourself, do your own research. And here are the tools that we have that I'm sharing to everyone. So, paano ka nga ba magkakaroon, or first, paano ka magkakaroon ng Bitcoin? Of course, you have to have a wallet. Ano naman yung wallet na to? Ano yung electronic wallet na to? If you're familiar with Paymaya, if you're familiar with Gcash, it's almost the same. If you have familiar, maybe you guys have some CoinPH, where you could even pay utilities like Meralco, PLDT. Me personally, I'm paying my credit card through that platform. So once you have this cold wallet or hot wallet or exchanges where you could gain your own address, then that's the time that you could actually participate with this type of technology and market. So I'm gonna post a link and additional tools that you could use para makita nyo ano tong mga wallets na to. But you could feel free to ask questions if medyo hindi malinaw kung ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng cold wallet or hot wallet. When you say cold wallet, you could actually, it's not actually connected to the internet. It's like an USB that you could unplug and you could hold it on your hand, and you could put it on your pocket, or you could put it set aside. And then you just connect it to your computer or connect it to the internet if you want to participate and be connected to the blockchain, where It could be do the recording if you want to do transaction. As I said kanina, yung blockchain is a decentralized ledger. Now, what's a hot wallet? It's a hot wallet. It's connected to the internet. It's private. You still have your own address. And eventually you have exchanges. These exchanges where you could directly do exchange from, let's say if you want to trade your coin, your Bitcoin to USDT, or vice versa. Or in some cases, you want to change it into another altcoins, which is be discussed in the future webinar or live broadcast that we have. Second, coin market calendar, coin gecko, coin market cap. What are these things? This is actually tools. You could just go on Google and you could type this one, and from there you'll be able to see ano yung mga coins and altcoins na available sa market. But right now, what I'm suggesting is just to focus first on the major ones, which is, of course, Bitcoin, just to get familiar. And then later on, maybe you could click on Ethereum and XRP and see how, if these are really put value on your own interests. And then we have this coin market calendar that I'm mentioning. Of course, just like the traditional market, merong mga news yan eh. Ano yung, what's going on, what's the technology behind it, what's the developer, any progress, any partnership. So makikita nyo yun dyan. Siyempre, kung merong mga hot news na tinatawag na ganyan, that's also one way for you to enter the market. And makikita mo dyan na, okay, this is the time for me to sell, this is the time for me to buy. But at the same time, if you are familiar both in technical, where you could do the charting that I showed you a while ago, so at least meron kang basis. One is technical and one is fundamental. And if you combine these two, you have better tools. Then we have what we call Binance, Qcoin. These are the exchange. So, yan yung ginagamit ko personally. Dito ako nagtitrade. And sometimes I just buy and just store it. Just like what I have in Qcoin. I bought this particular asset, and this particular asset is actually giving me daily dividend. So just like Jollibee, na nagbibigay sila ng dividend nila either quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. This particular exchange actually gives me a daily dividend. Well, of course, since it's daily, don't expect na malaki yung makukuha mo. Not unless you bought a bigger part of their asset, then you will have a bigger percentage also of their daily income. And then we have here Celsius Network. This one, just to give an idea, it's actually a platform where you could gain interest. So it's like, it works like a bank. When I say works like a bank, it's actually putting your own asset on a bank and let it go for interest. But the good thing with this Celsius network, since it's an altcoin, or since a token, and an institution are borrowing it from them, they're actually giving bigger percentage. So maybe later on, as I said, we could actually share that also to you, the link, if you're interested. Feel free to check the link. I guess that's just it. Do we have any questions or concerns? Please feel free to join us. So I'd like to thank everyone who participated and who will watch this live stream soon. Let's check our chat room or our chat thing. How many minutes na tayo nag-broadcast? We started around 2:30. So it's almost 1 hour na pala. Okay. So I guess that's it for today. I'm just gonna share some links on this channel, or you could also visit our Facebook channel and see what's going on on the market. I hope this encourages to see how we could actually participate, or how we could actually maximize and utilize this technology, as I always said, and avoid the scammers. Of course, let's avoid scammers. We don't want that experience. Alam ko marami sa atin ang scam na. So with this channel, I hope it will be able to help us all. Again, I'd like to thank everyone who supported the channel. Welcome again to Healthy Minds. This is Henry. God bless us all.